It is hard to believe that this month marks our third year at Minnetonka Christian Camp as the directors, but our journey with Minnetonka didn't start 3 years ago.
My mom, surprisingly, was pregnant with me in June of 1989. She came to a camp in June, which was senior camp, and then she had me in July. So my start at Minnetonka began in the womb.
Deep roots. And then our journey together at Minnetonka actually started in July of 2010. And that would have been just a month before we got married.
We started out as children's pastors at my dad's church, and we brought 60 kids.
I can remember one of the chapel services just as clear as day. I can remember Curtis. It was an extremely sentimental message. And after the message wrapped up in the old chapel, we walked across to what is the new chapel now. And everything was framed out, and we were all given Sharpies to write Bible verses and write messages.
I just think about that, the signatures on the wall. When we're in the chapel now, I think about all the names I remember seeing before all the wood was put up and how many people prayed over that. And when we have new groups come in, I like to tell them that too.
Yeah. Our names are under this pine somewhere.
Yeah, they're there, and there's scripture, and it's just really special. And I think about how many people have come to know the Lord in that building, and it's really, really incredible. Something interesting about that is 2 of the girls that we had brought that year were actually staff our last year. So something really cool to see is how it's generational. We always say like we're a community. At camp, you create these relationships, and you get to walk and do life together.
Our time and season at Minnetonka has been an absolute blast. It's been an incredible journey, but it has not been an easy one. Our first summer, we started out in April, and we had basically 6 weeks to get our staff out, and we had a great first summer. And then going into our second summer was in the midst of a pandemic. One of the hard parts of running the camp would be at the end of the summer. We have, you go through and you just have, depending on the summer, 6 to 8 weeks of just an incredible experience where every single week there's hundreds of students coming out, making decisions, many hearing the gospel for the first time. There's music playing all night long. Our windows are vibrating. We get to see so many friends and youth pastors and pastors and just people that we've known for such a long time. And summer comes to an end, and then it's kind of quiet and the dust settles. And it's tough to live out on that property when nobody's there. So we were anticipating 2020 in such a massive way, and then not to be able to hear the volume and the energy and everything that comes along with the summer in 2020 was difficult.
Whenever we decided that we were going to close, that was really tough. And I thought about how would I feel as a student if I didn't get to go to camp that summer.
Yeah.
And I think it clicked with me. It's not just a place to have fun. Camp is meaningful in more ways than one. I mean, it's a life-changing experience, and those memories and those values that you learn at camp stick with you. But when we closed, I just remember thinking, I don't want students to ever miss this.
Yeah, and that's like that week of summer for so many students, even as an individual coming up, like you look forward to it so much. That's like one of the kind of landmarks and highlights of the entire year. And that's something that when you get to experience that week of camp, you're able to put everything else aside, whether it's struggles at home with family or issues at school or whatever's going on in your life. It's that 1 week where you can kind of put all of that aside and disconnect from everything, hearing so many incredible messages and being able to truly worship. It's a time that you get anchored in for your year, and that carries you on. And so to know that in 2020, there were thousands of students that had to miss out on that.
I remember constantly watching the news and then hearing people in their businesses, like they had to close, and churches, there was that time where we were all just
struggling.
We were all struggling, but we were all isolated.
Yeah.
And, had to stay away, and what a terrible time. Nobody wants to remember that. But I remember thinking, how are we going to survive? How is the camp going to survive?
Right.
But donations came pouring in.
Yeah.
And it's because of people who gave that we were able to stay open.
Yeah, there is no doubt generosity is what got us through the summer of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I got to admit this. One of my many flaws is I am so geared to wanting to set records. I can't help it. That's just who I am. That's how I'm wired. So coming into 2019 with a late jump, it was, hey, we're just going to have summer. We're going to make the best of what we possibly can. And gearing up to after we finished the summer of 2019, going into 2020, it was, all right, we're going to set records this summer. We want to have the most attended summer. That's what we were shooting for. And because we weren't able to open the summer of 2020, I believe we had a total of 57 students come through that summer. So right now, the only record we hold is the lowest attended summer, but we're working on changing that this summer of 2022. Right now on the books, we have 11 camp weeks scheduled, and I'm hoping we set some records this summer.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I think what I love the most about Minnetonka and how we're different from other campuses, Minnetonka's been around since
over 60 years.
Over 60 years. And so it's just so incredible to see just like the deep roots and the community that has come from, getting to do life together every year at camp with like different youth pastors and different, students that you see, and you create these friendships that last for a lifetime.
One of the reasons that we wanted to put together this entire benefit is we have a vision where we can see Minnetonka in the next 5 and the next 10 years. But at the same time, we definitely do not want to discount our rich and true history that Minnetonka has. There are so many people that have given so much, not only financially, but time, energy, other resources to get Minnetonka to where it's at now. And even though we are newer in the sense of directors and Susan having a deep history here at the camp, we still want to hear those old stories. Like there's nothing better than that, than someone sitting down or someone walking through the property with us and telling us about, just because every single square inch of Minnetonka, there is a rich and just crazy story every single place you turn. We love that. So I want you to know, if there's something that you want to share with us, whether it's a memory, whether it's a story, whether it's something funny, or whether it was a decision that you made or maybe a loved one of yours made, we want to hear it.
We want this next generation coming up to have those stories as well, and just to take that, and we're going to continue to just walk in faith and just to believe that we're on the right path to growing the camp, and we never want that flame to die. We want Minnetonka to always be a place that is attainable, because we think every kid deserves a chance to experience a week at Minnetonka.
So even though Susan and I have huge plans for Minnetonka Christian Camp, whether it's getting the entire property paved and handicap and wheelchair accessible, putting in a state-of-the-art welcome center, enlarging our cafeteria, ropes course, and copy shop. There's so many different things that we plan on doing, but we definitely do not want to price out our students and churches for coming out to our events and coming out and experiencing a summer. So our goal is to specifically go to businesses and individuals that want to also make an impact with the gifts that God has given them.
So we were in a planning meeting for the benefit, and we're trying to think of names, and we picked this amazing venue at the Museum of Biblical Arts, and somebody said, why don't we name it the Art of Minnetonka? I was like, I love that. Let's have a time where we get together, share old memories, and maybe even some of the newer memories, and paint the picture of where we're going, but also where we've been. And Minnetonka started as a blank canvas. Through the years, we've all kind of added to this beautiful picture of what Minnetonka is, and it's God's handiwork. If we could just only take a snapshot of how many people it has reached, I think it would really blow our minds. And we want to continue that. We don't think that the work is done, and we want to continue to be used as vessels for God and for His work.
So our goal is to keep the gospel the benchmark and the foundation of Minnetonka. We are the same old camp with a brand new vision and the same message.